After what seems like the longest 3 months ever, Spy X Family is back for part 2, and I cannot be more excited about this series. So much fun, great first episode, jumped right back into it. Thankfully did not spend too much time trying to recap what we already know. I have like a brief run through the story. I mean, it's not a super complicated story. This is a very character-driven show, so all the overarching plots isn't too much to get into. Yes, Ostania, Westania, these two sides that are at peace and people wanting to stir it back up. This Westalis group that made Operation Strix, and they're employing Twilight to form a family and stop bad guys. Easy, easy to get right back into. But yes, jumping right back into it, Anya now having acquired her first Stella, they are going to give her a gift to reward her so that she keeps trying for this stuff. And yes, it is a dog. It was so great. I think it was so terrible that in the first part, they actually teased the dog, and now we're finally getting it. We finally get the inclusion of Wanchan. I got a huge kick out of the war dogs. Like, they have this organization, has its own pet shop, and they breed nothing but war dogs. So they have like the best of the best dogs that were fully trained. They go in there and these dogs are behind the glass, like flexing and stuff like that. And Anya obviously is very scared by them, but then one of the dogs did the whole Yakuza thing. I was like, what? Then we just literally have a dog act like a Yakuza. As per usual, every single time this family goes out, Lloyd has to get a mission midway, so he has to leave the group, act like he's going to the bathroom. Anya, he always takes a long time on the poop, so we should probably go to this other adoption place. But now from Lloyd's side, we are getting a perspective that there is a group that is going to try to assassinate this foreign minister that's coming to the area. And as we find from them later on, it's in order to, again, recreate the war and restore Ostania back to its former glory. And of course, since Lloyd is the man of many faces, they decide to use him to disguise himself as Keith, their leader, in order to push this guy to divulge everything. They are employing these dogs, which it kind of gets into the fact that apparently there was this group that was trying to raise animals with really high IQ for use in the war. And apparently since the government kind of fell apart, they weren't able to get to the point they wanted to with these animals. But it seems like a lot of these animals got into the black market, which I'm going to assume at this point, the dog is going to be one of these particular high IQ animals. But it does seem like, obviously, and we kind of hinted at it with the first part, this dog also seems to have the ability to see into the future, like a precog. Now, that's what Anya ends up gravitating to, is that she sees a vision from his mind of her entire family. And of course, she's only there with Yor, so it doesn't make any sense that Lloyd would be in the image as well from this dog's mind. So it's really cool. I think I mentioned this in the first part, that this idea of adding yet another thing that I think Anya's going to be able to work with a lot better. Obviously, she can't tell Lloyd what's going on. She can't tell Yor what's going on. But I think at least with the dog, she'll feel more comfortable with working alongside him, and he's able to tell her the future at the same time she's able to communicate to him. And again, hear what his thoughts are. And that kind of works out in this episode with the phone ringing. He basically is telling her a phone's gonna ring, and so she picks up on that. Though it does seem like the dog's kind of dumb. It does seem like the dog's a little dumb, or at least he has a terrible sense of direction. He's a coward and he has a terrible sense of direction. That's all we've kind of established at this point. But he's a good dog, though. He saved a kid and he's saving Anya. But no, back to this whole plan. They are going to strap a bunch of these bombs on all these dogs and send them into this venue to take out this foreign minister. It was really cute, though. The adoption event was cute. We've, at this point, established that bunnies win Anya's heart. She goes to each one of them. Dogs, cats, bunnies, that's where she stops. That's the one she's most excited about. But yes, she reads this dog's mind, goes to find out what's going on with this dog. She knows that she can't tell Yor. Yor completely flips out the moment that she realizes Anya's gone, jumps up into the rafters, and starts going off on this big old thing about apparently there's kidnaps happening currently, and people are kidnapping women to make them their brides. And so she immediately thinks Anya's been kidnapped, or no, first she thought that the dogs were eating her, and then that apparently that she's going to be married. But yeah, that's when we get the proper first introduction of the dog, as Anya goes inside of this building, ends up getting caught by these guys, and the dog freaks out, rips off his leash, goes up there in front of Anya, like super protective, and the moment that somebody picks up a pipe, the dog cowers and goes behind Anya. Shock. I was like, yep, that's a dog. I mean, that's most dogs, is they're all bark, no bite. they'll protect their master until they realize things aren't going well, and then they just cower, which is fine. Give the dog his quirk. I think that's great. Again, the whole lack of direction thing was fantastic as well. Just another thing to add to the chemistry of this series. But yeah, precog the phone. They rush out. Apparently the stupidest group of bad guys ever, because none of them realized that this big, huge fluff ball just walked out the door. They're fleeing. Passerbys are like, oh, that's cute, even though she's saying that she's being chased by bad guys. Ends up running around a bunch, gets caught by the bad guys, and then yes, Yor shows up, drop kicks the guy, and claims that she's not ready to be married yet, which again, Yor complete misunderstanding the situation. I love that when Yor drop kicks this guy and stops on the ground, you see like everybody's shocked, but for some reason they had to have this canine just be like the most shocked face ever. It was gold. The dog expressions in this episode, I think, made this entire episode. But again, fantastic first episode. A lot of fun, a lot of action, a lot of comedy in there. Again, adding this new dog to the mix, I think is going to be fantastic for the chemistry, mainly around the idea of Anya finally having somebody that she's probably going to confide in. I think that Anya's probably going to be able to divulge to this dog, you know, look, Lloyd's a spy, Yor's an assassin, and this dog's not going to really be able to tell anybody. We'll see how the dog responds to it. It seems like, again, the dog is very intelligent, so he's probably going to be able to understand what Anya is trying to tell him. But again, I think it's going to be cool to have that chemistry between Anya. Anya finally able to tell somebody something rather than it all being in her head and her constantly just doing the shock waku waku stuff. But it's funny because it's one of those things like Anya, whenever she sees something that she knows is wrong, she's never able to tell anybody. Like if there's a child drowning, she can't tell Lloyd there's a child drowning because he would not believe her. Anya can't tell Yor when a dog has a vision of their entire family because she won't believe her. So if the dog sees something precog, it's not as if Anya's going to go, Lloyd, something bad's going to happen. It's just going to make her freak out more. So I guess we'll still continue to have waku waku and shocks and not able to tell anybody. Yes, a lot of fun. A lot of excitement. Can't wait for the next episode. This is going to be a fantastic season with Spy X Family included into it. I love the first part. Going to love the second part. Can't wait to get back into Eden College. That was a lot of my fun, was Anya with Damien and all the rest of them. And yes, Becky. We gotta have Becky come back. But that's my thoughts on episode 13 of Spy X Family. Hope you guys enjoyed this video as always. If you did, make sure to hit that like button down below. Comment. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Do you like the inclusion of the dog? If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, and a super thanks button down below. I greatly appreciate everybody it does. And y'all take care.